Let's create an ocean wave. All right. To start with an ocean wave, basically what you're going to do is put a curved line going horizontally across your paper. So just make a loop, and the curved line can go in any direction. So just watch me for a little bit and let's just talk about this. All right, so I can change this up. I can even put one in the middle. So again, I'm just making sort of a curved line, a loop line, however you would like to go about it. All right, so make a curvature line, a wavy line onto your paper, and this is going to be our wave. Now, wherever it comes down, this is going to be where the wave is crashing over. So over here on this part, we're going to make that crash part, that white part of the wave. So this is going to be my crash side. On this one, I'm going to let my crash come down here, and this is going to be my crash, and just go crazy with it. This is where it all bubbles up white, where it's crashing over on itself. And then on this one, my next one, I had one in the middle. So I'm going to be crashing down this way and crashing back up here. So the water wave is going to be coming down here. All right. So back to my first one again. All right. Here we go. Got it. All right. So if the water is going to be crashing down on this side, so you can see how the water is going to turn. Okay. So you can see how the water is going to turn. I'm going to use these line directions to curve the water down. All right. And then up underneath on this side, the water is curving back this way. So I'm making sort of these C shapes coming back. And this is the water coming into the front. All right. So that creates my wave effect. When I go to add color to this, I am again going to be coloring with line directions. Best. All right, so when I'm going to add color, let me show you that really quickly. And again, I'm going to be filling in with line direction. So it's this C shape that I'm looking for as the wave is crashing down and bringing my wave forward. And my water is going to be crashing down here in the front. And I can put blue in there, but I could also add a little bit of purple for the shadowy effect. There's sort of a purpley color. And down in here, down into that real like the whole of the wave, I can add some of that color in there right up underneath my white part, right up here on the edge. I can add some purple for that crash, that shadow area into my wave. You could add a little bit of yellow for the highlights. I'm going to go back in there again and let my blue and my yellow kind of or my blue and my purple mix together a little bit more. But this is going to help it get more and more as I put that water in there. Now, fast moving water is white water, so we'll leave some of that white in there, but you're starting to see how I affect that wave. All right, so here's one. Just keep watching for a minute. Don't start just yet. All right, and let's look at this one. So this one, instead of the C shape, I'm going backwards. So it's like a backwards C shape. So my water is going to be coming in from this direction, coming on out. I'm just making those C shapes. It's going to be my water flowing on down. And then my water is going to be crashing down over on this side. All right, and you can see how my water is going to crash there. And again, it's when I start using my colors, putting my blues in there, my blue greens, my bluish purples. As I start adding in color, this is going to start looking more and more like the water wave. All right, and as I'm putting that in, again, I'm thinking about the line direction, the line of the color. I'm coloring in the direction that the water is going to be moving. All right, that's what I want to be doing. All right, so there's my next one. And again, I probably would put even some blue, green in there as well. And so again, here now, the water's crashing into the middle. So this side is going to be curving up from this direction. And this side is going to be curving backwards, my C shape in this direction, because the water is going to come up and go over. So it's coming up from both sides, curving around. And then in the front, it's going to move on out. All right. So here on the top part, my water is coming from the top and coming down into the middle. Again, from the top down into the middle. And then it's crashing over on itself. So that's the direction of your line. So when you're drawing water, what you really want to be thinking about is the movement of the water and the line direction of the water. Now, let's go back for a second to the example that we started with. After I put in that water wave, all right, I have the foam part of the water coming up on the beach. So I basically just put in another line coming up here and just let it foam up on the beach right on the edge of my water wave. All right. And then this will become my beach area. So again, if this is where I want the water to stop, I will put my foam edge, just a white line, and I just do it a crazy line for that water coming up, that last bit of foam coming back and forth up on the beach, right? And again, I've got one more. I think I have one more. Yeah, there it is. And again, it's just sort of a crazy line for that foam, that last wave coming on shore, all right? Which means that my sandy shoreline is going to be right here. And so this will become my sand area down below. All right. And I can bring, if we go back to my original, I can bring that water edge up a little bit higher if I want to. So I can just keep bringing that up. I've got a purple one here. That's okay. I like to mix colors and bring it up here. And in the original one, I started to put a little boat, sort of a ghost ship in the back. And you could do that as well too. Right? You could even have put somebody on a surfboard surfing over those waves if you would like to. All right. And the example of the great wave, let's take a look at that one on my, I'm just going to flip over on the back side. All right. So in that one, we have this big water cresting over top. And then you've got the water kind of spewing up over. And so it's not going all the way up. And then you've got this part coming back and flowing over. So you've got this water coming up and over, and then it's floating back. And then you have the boat right there in the middle of it. So that wave is getting ready to crash over top. Again, it's all about the direction of the line, the direction of the crash as it's coming over. So let me show you one more example before you actually get started. So got a new one and I'll fold it back over. All right. So again, any kind of crazy curve line will do. So I'll just put my curve line in where it's dipping down. That is where the white foamy area, the crash, all the air bubbles are going to be. All right. And then up underneath, this is where the water is curving and going up underneath it, and I can let this come on out. And again, I can put that foamy edge, no right or wrong way to do that as you're coloring in. That would be my beach area. This is my water crashing down. I'm going to put my water direction in there. Now, maybe in the back, instead of just letting it be plain, maybe I want another wave coming in. So what I want to show you is that you can do more than one water wave. So again, I'm going to put a dip in there and come on out. Now you can see this one's going to be dipping more in the middle. This one's a little bit smaller because as I work my way back, I want to get smaller and smaller into the distance, pushes it back. Again, I'm going to start with my crazy spew of the water. And then this side is curving up into the wave this way. And this one's curving the water into the wave on this side. All right. So we want to get that line direction. And then as it comes back out, it's going to come to the front wave. And then the top is curving down. And we're showing how the water direction is going to come down before we start adding color. So now I have one wave crashing into the next wave, which is going to be crashing onto the shore. Let's go back to the example. And one thing that I have down on the bottom is I have some seashells. And seashells are really, really easy to make. So let's just draw a few seashell shapes. All right. So let's start with this conch shell. The conch shell is what you put up to your ear when you hear the ocean. I like to start with a little circle, the little tip of the conch shell. And then you can put like little diagonal or little points on it, like you see in the example. But I just a zigzaggedy kind of star, kind of weird shape will be fine. And then you just make a bigger one. And you can make this get as bigger and smaller as you would like. Once you've got a couple of rows, you can go 2, you can go 3. Then from the top, you're going to make a bump coming down. And then you're going to come out to the edge of it and then back over. And if you want, you can put a little curve line for the inside of the shell, which you would darken up. And these usually have line ridges coming down them. And usually there's a few little points on them as well, too. All right, so it's just a little extra detail if you want to add to that. And then you would color it. And that's the easy way to make a conch shell. This is a scallop shell. And it's kind of like a fan shape. So it's just sort of a fan shape coming down and then sort of a little fan on the bottom. All right. And then it also has these crease lines in it, right? There's also crease lines on the bottom. I kind of like it this way. You can change it up or add even more detail to it. Of course, over here, then I have a sand dollar, which is just a circle, and it usually has sort of a 5-point little guy down there. So I think of head, arms, and legs when I do that. All right, and then I just put some extra dots going around, starting to look like a cookie here, and creating my sand dollar. We could also try our hand at an oyster shell, which kind of just comes up like a blobby shape. And then it has these little lines that keep working its way on up. And they usually have some little lines that run through them too. And there's usually like a little dot down below. So oyster shells. All kinds of different ways that you could add that. You can add an umbrella to yours or a fancy little sandcastle. You can put people in your scene. There's just all kinds of ways you can finish up your drawing. All right, so today, try your hand at making ocean waves. And again, remember when you are drawing that ocean wave, you're going to start with just a dip. It doesn't matter how you make your curvy line, how you make your dip. And it's that part that dips down, that is where the crash is going to be. All right. That's the main beginning. All right. And then you're going to curve and use those line directions to show how the water is going to go. And that will help you make your water, your ocean scene. All right. Have a good time.